Former First Lady Michelle Obama and a host of celebrities, including Tom Hanks, Tracee Ellis Ross, and Kerry Washington, are calling on Americans to encourage their senators to support a sweeping voting rights package that would thwart efforts from Republican state lawmakers to curb access to the ballot box. The For the People Act, or S1, aims to expand voting access nationwide. The bill will bar states from restricting the ability to vote by mail and, among other provisions, call for states to use independent redistricting commissions to create congressional district boundaries. The new bill also includes measures to protect against foreign interference in elections. In an open letter published Tuesday by When We All Vote, a nonpartisan organization committed to voter registration that Obama co-chairs, the former First Lady and a slew of celebrity signatories urge Americans of conscience and goodwill to join us in taking a stand for voting rights and to put the power more firmly in the hands of the people. We are asking you to join us by calling on your senators to pass the For the People Act immediately, the letter reads in part. Among the letters are more than 60 signatures from Alicia Keys, Jada Pinkett Smith, Laverne Cox, Joe Jonas, Leonardo DiCaprio, Carmelo Anthony, and Jose Andres. The Senate Rules Committee is set to hold a hearing on the For the People Act today. So another part of the letter says, we are asking you to join us by calling on your senators to pass the For the People Act immediately. And you can join their efforts by going to www.whenweallvote.org for more information. And one other part of the letter that I thought was really, profound. Just as those who came before us turned the crack of a baton or the spray of a firehouse into a voting rights act, just as those who turned literacy tests, poll taxes, and other forms of discrimination into organized, concrete, and hopeful action on behalf of their votes, we too can make our mark on history. We too can right wrongs in our time and pave the way for those who came after us.
Yeah, I'm a track athlete, so when you think about forms of track, I feel like every time we get over a hurdle or we run a marathon,
I like
something else that's in the way. They're always trying to make it hard for us to get our vote through. And to our soulmates, if you haven't been to whenweallvote.org, like it just walks you through. It's an easy process of how you register to vote, check your status, know your rights, and also, pledge to vote too. So make sure you go to that website.
I just wanted to, your First Lady could never, okay? Because what other First Lady has this influence that Michelle Obama has? Like, who else is putting in this time years after being in the White House? No one else is putting in this work. And it is just so inspiring to watch her glow. And I mean, her book and just projects, her and Barack, I mean, they have been working tirelessly since they've been out of office. And so I just want to commend her and just give her flowers right now. And so I was reading actually that she wants to retire pretty soon as well. So that's why she's putting a lot of energy into all of her projects now, so that pretty soon her and Barack can retire together and go live on an island. Yeah.
Earlier today, Mitch McConnell stood up and said, hey, there is no Republican effort to suppress votes. He said that point blank. And now you have a group of celebrities pushing back against that and saying, hey, we don't agree with that. And so it's going to be interesting to see where the voters lie,
And it's just a reminder how powerful our vote is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, guys. So the city of Oakland, California, officially announced its implementation of a pilot guaranteed income program, which would allocate $500 per month to qualifying low-income households to use at their discretion. Mayor Libby Schaaf confirmed the launch of the program on Twitter on Wednesday. It's set to expire in 18 months, with 600 Oakland families being the first to participate in the initial trial. Schaaf is one of the 40 U.S. mayors who are members of the advocacy organization. It's called Mayors for a Guaranteed Income, also known as MGI. MGI was founded in June 2020 by former Stockton, California Mayor Michael D. Tubbs, who created the program that is rooted in civil rights icon Martin Luther King Jr.'s philosophies. Since then, 40 cities have decided to join MGI and work to test drive a universal basic income plan, including Stockton, Compton, Baltimore, Houston, and Madison, Wisconsin, among others. So this is always great to hear that 600 families are going to be impacted. And this is actually the first program that's going to strictly limit it to just people that are Black, Indigenous, and people of color communities. And the reason why this is great for California, for this, what city is it again?
Stockton?
Oakland, yes,
Yes.
for Oakland, California. Thank you so much. This is great for Oakland, California, because all the White Houses, the majority of the households in Oakland, California, on average, the white ones make 3 times as much annually than black households. So this is really great that just 600 black families are going to be impacted by this. So this is really good.
Yeah. We're talking about one of the largest guaranteed income programs in the country, and I'm proud about it. I'm proud to talk about it because if you think about it, in Oakland, over 70,000 people live in poverty. That's a lot of people. And if they can see how this can work and how you can help people from not being put out of their homes or being able to feed their children and their families, I'm all in for that.
Yeah.
You know, we started talking a lot about universal basic income when Andrew Yang started running for president, right? At the very beginning of this last election cycle. I know, I'm sorry that I brought it up because I know it was a rough time for us all. It was a stressful time. But universal basic income is different than guaranteed income. So universal basic income, UBI, which the way it works is it will give enough income to meet everyone's basic needs, right? Guaranteed income is only meant to supplement the money that you already bring in, other wages, other programs, and help build what they call an income floor. And I think it's interesting because, we're talking about universal basic income now, we're talking about guaranteed income now, we're talking about reparations now, and 3 completely different programs all focused on equality.
Yeah, that's true.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, well, on Tuesday, President Biden called on Congress to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines and to close loopholes in the background check system after a gunman killed 10 people at a grocery store in Boulder, Colorado.
I don't need to wait another minute, let alone an hour, to take common sense steps that will save the lives in the future and to urge my colleagues in the House and Senate to act. We can ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines in this country once again. I got that done when I was a senator. It passed. It was law for the longest time. And it brought down these mass killings. We should do it again. We can close the loopholes in our background check system, including the Charleston loophole. That's one of the best tools we have right now to prevent gun violence. The Senate should immediately pass, let me say it again, the United States Senate, I hope some are listening, should immediately pass the 2 House-passed bills that close loopholes in the background check system.
Now, this is not and should not be a partisan issue. This is an American issue, and it will save lives, American lives, and we have to act, Biden said. The president said he was being regularly briefed by Attorney General Merrick Garland and FBI Director Christopher Wray and is in touch with the state and local leaders in Colorado. The president is considering enacting a gun control executive order. I want to start with Louisiana Republican John Kennedy, who went on record and said it's not a gun problem, it's an idiot problem. Okay, so if that's what you want to call them, Senator, Republican, I'm sorry, they're not walking around with that on their forehead, so we can't determine that, right? So we still need to go ahead and make sure that we tighten up and strengthen these laws and the background checks and things of that nature. Just like on March 11, I believe the date where they passed, the 2 bills were passed that Biden was talking about. That's going to be a problem probably going through the Senate because we need 60 votes. So we need 10 Republicans to side with us. We normally know how that plays out, right?
I have a question because I think I generally know, how you all feel about what's being proposed now. We've talked about gun control before. I think our audience knows. But, Colorado has one of the strictest, some of the strictest gun control laws in our nation. And so the question is what's being proposed right now, is that strong enough to have had any effect on what happened just a couple days ago?
Well, the problem is that Boulder did have a very, very strict gun law in place.
No, right, that's what I'm asking. So I'm saying what's being asked federally, what's being proposed federally, do you think that would have changed anything?
But then it was blocked by a judge 10 days before the shooting happened. And then 6 days before the shooting happened is when the shooter obtained the weaponry that he used in the shooting. So I think that what has to happen is it has to be irrevocable legislation, and it's got to be clear cut. And like Biden said, it's got to remove those loopholes that the NRA and the GOP keep finding in order to keep placing these guns, these assault weapons, this military weaponry into the hands of the Republican from Louisiana says idiots, or just whomever, Demi, what do you think?
No, I was gonna just add on to that. Joe Biden is also pushing for universal background checks as well, which I think is very, very, very important because a lot of the stories that we hear, right, about things that happen, we're also like, oh, this person also had a history of this that was documented. So I feel like also if we know before these people get to buy the gun, some of their history, and that'll affect if they get to purchase a gun or not. I feel like that will be helpful because, you know, think about it. You have the pandemic that just happened. You have some people that have lost family members, that have lost jobs, that have just lost a lot, you know, and so they're angry. And so not to tie into, oh, you had a bad day, you get to go around killing people, but I'm just saying it affects your mental state. When you're not right up here, it affects your mental state.
But that's the thing is like when it comes to the background checks, who is going to design the background check? You know what I mean?
Well, the state of Colorado, you know, that's kind of what I was mentioning. I wasn't just talking about the assault rifle ban, because that's what you mentioned, the assault rifle ban. But other than that, they have really strict gun control laws. They already have pretty universal background checks across the state.
Yeah.
And this still happened. And so doing this federally, do you think it would make a difference?
I have a problem with the background check situation because, because it's who determines what is enough information on those background checks. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. And then how can you guess what's going to happen in the future if there's still access to weapons?
Exactly. The reality of the situation is that gun violence costs the U.S. $280 billion a year. The reality of the situation is that it is the leading cause of death of American teens and children. So for the GOP to be clinging to the Second Amendment and saying, from our cold dead hands will you pry our guns, and be pro-lifers at the same time, it is the epitome of hypocrisy.